Last time I was in Ukraine was over the winter break. We celebrated New Year's, Christmas with the family. I mean, in the city where I'm from, Kiev, it didn't really feel like anything was going to happen. Everybody was like buzzing about. Everybody was in a good mood. New Year's felt very magical. But I mean, I was kind of, I think, looking at things from like a more Western media perspective that was kind of shouting it's about to go down. So I was a bit worried. And then kind of leaving, I remember I still booked my tickets for the Easter break just because I was kind of hopeful nothing was going to go down. But then, 24th of February, it all happened.
So what was it like? I assume you were here on the 24th of February.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
I mean, I think by the 20th of February, it was pretty certain it was going to happen because Putin did that speech and announcing the military special operation. And I mean, I was happy because my mom, she had the flight on the 22nd, so she was already in London. So I kind of wasn't worried for family, but obviously all my friends that were still there, who, were very skeptical of the invasion, I felt like they probably woke up to a horrible morning, yeah, for sure.
So you said your grandparents are still over there?
Yeah, well, they were in Kharkiv, but we've actually managed to evacuate them quite some time after they've kind of leveled the place. But our grandparents' place was left alone there. So my granddad's brother's street was literally all floored apart from their house. And it was him, his wife, and their grandkids. I think it's 3 grandkids, and they're all under the age of 6. And he's like a huge guy, he's big built, he's ex-military man, and he literally called my mum in absolute she says she's never heard him cry, and he was in absolute tears. He was just get the kids out of here, I don't know what to do, the whole street is gone, stuff like that. But it was good. There's a big, community in Ukraine that kind of got together as well, loads of Telegram channels, people saying oh, I'm driving from Kharkiv to Kiev, at this time, I've got space in my car, anybody needs, can help evacuate. And just through those channels, I think we found someone to get them out of there, yeah.
So what's it like for you and your mum to be in the UK and then your family be there? What's that like?
Well, from my immediate family, it's only my dad that's there, and he's at the start of the war he went to Lviv, so I mean it was a bit safer there. I actually don't think he was in the center of the town. He was somewhere near the mountains, so probably the safest place to be in Ukraine. So I wasn't that worried for him. Grandparents was obviously, they were on the very front line. But again, we've managed to sort out the evacuation. And I think it's mainly that friends that I know who, when they were forced in Kiev, who were majorly affected. A lot of my friends went to, what is it called, Territorial Defense Force. It's not the army, but it's within the city, you get guns and you just kind of look out for, diversion groups.
Were you tempted to go back?
At the start, yeah, it was quite silly. I mean, it was just it's kind of probably just an adrenaline rush to kind of go back. But, if I go back, I can probably take down a soldier or 2 before I get taken down myself, But being here, I can probably fundraise and help evacuate. And we're doing this portal that helps relocate students from Ukraine to universities in Europe, and I think that way I can help many more people than just being on the front lines. Loads and loads of work actually. Every day this group's come together called Sunflowers for Ukraine, and they've been doing a lot of stuff. They've been screening films about Ukraine. So they had a couple of students go to Poland to volunteer at the border, and then one of them actually went into Ukraine. He's not Ukrainian, so he was called to get out. And yeah, he filmed like a couple interviews there and shown them. I think we've raised quite a lot of money from that. But otherwise, yeah, just kind of like information events, information stands, like baking stuff. I don't know what you call that. Bake sales, yeah, stuff like that. In terms of other stuff, protests, I mean, I think they kind of sparked up around Bristol in the first few weeks of the invasion, but they've kind of died down afterwards. But yes, those have been pretty big. And yeah, with this portal, I think it's just me and this other guy that kind of got together. We first started like listing just scholarships that were being offered to Ukrainians being relocated. But as like more and more institutions are offering these, it's kind of become like quite a big portal where quite a lot of people come to find the information they need.
Do you have any thoughts about where you can see it going or finishing or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've known how it's going to finish, like from the very start. I never thought Kyiv or Ukraine was going to fall, and I think it's good that a lot more people are realizing this now, especially like those who send us weapons and humanitarian aid, because now that they've realized that Ukraine has a very strong chance to win, they've set the bar as Ukraine winning being Putin stepping out of power and Russia totally withdrawing from Ukraine, even before where they were like in 2014. Honestly, I would think it would have been a bigger problem for Russia if they did integrate that territory into their country, because I think this is the difference kind of between Ukrainians and Russians. You saw those videos when like one policeman is chasing after like a huge crowd of Russians running away from him, and then another video was like 100 Ukrainians kind of like beating police during the Maidan revolutions. And I think it would have been a big problem for Putin, because that whole 35 million population would have just marched onto the Kremlin and just burnt it to the ground, I think. Yeah. I didn't really know where he was going with it. It's very stupid for him. Very stupid, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think if Russians see this, they need to act, because, we are pushing and soon we are going to be close to your cities. But just to prevent the millions of your soldiers that are going to die, the millions of civilians that can also die, you need to act from within Russia right now. Yeah.
What do you think they should do?
Protest, masses. There's just not enough jails if all of you get up and speak up. There's really nothing to be afraid of.
Is there anything we could do in Bristol now, like if you're like students watching this?
Yeah, I think humanitarian aid is really appreciated in Ukraine. There is actually a Bristol medical student, who's, she's Polish, and she's riding around Ukraine with like a team, just going from village to village, helping wounded, or just helping those who can't get access to medication now because just all the pharmacies have been cleared out. And she's texting us like every day, like, I need stretchers, I need like band-aids, I need like first aid kits, ask the medical faculty, ask the Bristol Hospital, Royal Infirmary, to send them over. And everybody's kind of like, oh, we don't have that, or we only donate to like official charities like Red Cross. And Red Cross is actually super ineffective. Like from what is heard of in Ukraine, they do absolutely nothing. And what I hear from this girl personally is that she, sees them like partying in Lviv every night when she is like working 20 hours a day with her team. So I think check the sources that you are sending your humanitarian aid to, because there can be a lot of scammers. But I think local groups that ask for this aid, it's much more worth donating to them rather than to big charities like Red Cross.